Why people in Abuja, Lagos have no business sinking boreholes in their houses, federal government reveals. So all this issue of water bill, water rate, and issuing license and permission for people to sink boreholes in their houses is still not over yet. So what is federal government trying to review here? That we shouldn't put borehole in our houses. All right. If government provides potable water for everybody, clean water, nobody will sink boreholes. Countries where they put license on boreholes, they provided water completely for everybody, so government will have full control of the groundwater. In Nigeria, you do everything for yourself, and government will still want to collect revenue from the services they would have provided by the field, and you ended up providing it for yourself. Let's see what they have to say here. Federal government reviews why people in Abuja and Lagos shouldn't be sinking borehole in their houses. Nigerians in Lagos and Abuja have no business sinking boreholes in their private homes, according to the federal government. According to the Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, states must do more investments in water supply, especially as the population is growing. Going further, the minister expressed alarm that over 100,000 boreholes have been drilled in Abuja. The federal government on Monday declared that the Abuja, Lagos, and other urban and municipal centers in the country have no business sinking boreholes for water supply. The Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, stated this in Abuja at the 7th edition of the ministerial briefing, highlighting the administration's key achievements in the sector. Can you imagine? Everybody's achieving. I mean, we're not seeing the impact in the lives of the people. Speaking on the indiscriminate use of groundwater for irrigation and the government's desire to check it, he had been asked about the implications of household boreholes sunk because of lack of public source of potable water supply. The minister noted that while it is necessary to have boreholes in rural communities where there is no surface water source, places like Lagos, Abuja, and others should not depend on boreholes for water supply. So what do we do then? He said the states must do more investments in water supply, especially as the population is growing. The minister said why the federal government is not interested in being the organ providing permit for sinking boreholes, it wants to ensure that it falls under the National Safety Code and guidelines. Adamu stated, in every country in the world, Nigeria is the only country where there are no regulations or standards for boreholes, and we want to do that. We are not saying you could not build a borehole in your house. Nobody is going to stop you from having borehole in your house, but we don't need the boreholes. But what we are going to do is to make sure the municipal water works, we cannot do away with boreholes entirely. So we want to make sure that the municipal water works. Can you imagine? In rural areas where there is no surface water source, you need to provide them with boreholes. For villages and so on, that is okay. But for urban centers and municipal centers, we have no business having boreholes there. We have no business having boreholes in Abuja and Lagos. There is a lot of fresh water in this country, 1,800 cubic meters per capita water supply. So we are not a water scarce country, but we are economically a water scarce country because we are not able to distribute the water equitably. So what we need is to see more investments by states and not just a one-off investment, because water is an organic thing. Population is growing. Every day people are born. From the moment a baby is born, he needs water to drink. So the investment must outpace population growth. What we need to do now is to take our water supply facility to the current population. Without doing that, we will not get there, And all these strategies that we are adopting is to make it possible. What we want is to be able to know where the boreholes are, and we are not saying the federal government is the one to give permits for drilling boreholes. We just want it to fall under a national safety code and guidelines so that hydrological services will have all the data it needs. The minister expressed alarm that over 100,000 boreholes have been drilled in Abuja, saying, "In Abuja, I heard over 100,000 boreholes have been drilled, and it is a huge concern, and I hope FCT and states will be able to set up their monitoring so that we get away with these boreholes." You don't have to get away with the boreholes now. So what is this minister for water resources talking about? Everything a minister, everything a minister. Now this one is coming out to tell us now that people in Lagos and Abuja do not need borehole. So if they don't need borehole, you give them water. Now you cannot give them water, so they are putting their boreholes. All right. So he's saying that the states have the responsibility to provide water for their citizens. All right. But the problem I have is that the state reports to the federal. So if the state is not doing what they're supposed to do, or if the states are not doing what they're supposed to do, shouldn't the federal call them to order and say, where are we on this? Where are we on this? Where are we on this? And ask questions and give directions. All right. Rather than putting up policies that will go and haunt these helpless citizens, you also have a system in place that checkmates and provide oversight supervision of what the state governments are doing. We're not doing that. Every time we wake up, you want to put everything on the citizens. The citizens bear the brunt. That is not right. Things have to change. Right? So there's no water. You are not crying that the government is not to give permits, all right, for boreholes, for drilling boreholes. But you want to make sure that they are being checked by the state government. They are being checked. You are able to make sure that there's a system in place to monitor the use of groundwater. Yeah? Countries where people are not allowed to sink boreholes, where governments are fully in charge of the groundwater, they provided 24/7 clean, potable water to all the homes. All right? And people are ready to pay. It's not water, yes. People are ready to pay for the water, but provide the water clean and healthy water. Because most of the diseases people are having today are waterborne diseases, either from the boreholes themselves or from the streets or running rivers, right? Or even stagnant waters and gutters. But most of the water these people are having today, especially cholera related, are waterborne diseases. Okay? And can be checked. So let government do the needful and not come and tell anybody don't put borehole. Of course, they won't do it because that will cause a kind of clash they will never be able to manage. Why can't states or local government be in charge? This unitary system of government will continue to be a problem. When people are given the privilege to govern their country, all right, when people are given privilege to govern their countrymen, they will use the chance to oppress them. There is no way you can generate water on a large scale without electricity. Instead of being serious about power generation, you are busy making laws about water. It's true now, because even if you want to provide the water, you need the electricity to power the pumps and circulation system that will transmit that water to all the homes and circulate it. Yeah, they have no business sinking boreholes. However, the government whose business it is to provide water is in the business of doing nothing, thereby making it the Lagos or Abuja residents a business of sinking boreholes. That is true. A government that couldn't provide water, electricity, refineries, and even security, what a useless government. That is true. Those countries regulating digging of boreholes have tap water provided to the people. Provide potable water and people will not need to dig boreholes. So that's true. The earlier the better, otherwise the Ministry of Water Resources could be classified as another terrorist ministry. All right? The minister is surely uninformed. Lagos water has stopped flowing in the last 3 years in areas that they served. Now, even the resident of the governor, even The residents of the governor have borehole. Can you imagine? Governor's lodge and governor's house. Can you imagine? Please stop deceiving yourself for the sake of your mental health. Multiple borehole is as a result of a municipal failure of municipal water system, which is a reflection of bad governance. So everybody is saying the same thing here, that the only reason people have borehole is because the government has failed. So government need to do something about it. So let's have your comment and your say about it. What if somebody comes to your house and say, why are you putting borehole? What will be your response? So thank you for listening.